applying all my time and effort to my passion, and still had no security. So then, the deal came, and parallel to that, I became a dad. So with all of these things going on, it's like, it's a tug of war, a complete tug of war. Spending money, trying to save money, reacting to circumstance, and really like...
You're under pressure then?
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
You got signed. Put out 2 videos.
Yeah.
And then you're now currently embarking on your own journey.
Yeah.
Along the way, like you said, that you were somewhat new to the game,
yeah.
the business and the music. Getting into the machine, what have you learned? Because now you're also creating your own machine. So what did you learn about the other machine when you were there yourself?
I learned that it's a conveyor belt and it just keeps moving. That's the most important thing I think I learned. It just keeps moving, so no matter what you're doing, tomorrow's another day for them, for yourself. You understand? So, you when you're exposing yourself on that sort of level to the mass market, you can live and die by your last move. So I just think it's about putting your strongest foot forward and always having a contingency, a plan B.
Do you feel that the singles were what you or represented who Smiler was?
No. They represented a dimension of me, otherwise the music wouldn't have been made at all. But I just feel like they were, a lot more pop than the stuff that I was delivering to the label. Because the fact of the matter is, it's like, look, Warner Brothers signed me because they saw me as a viable pop product, not because they wanted to, invest more money into someone that's only gonna, sort of attract a cult following. That's not what they were interested in. They wanted numbers. At the time, Tiny was crossing over, or had just crossed over, and he was like a supernova in this country, and everybody was sort of looking at him like, the second coming. So they were all looking for their own Tiny. That's the fact. So, a lot of black young artists that were getting signed around about that time that did grime or rap music, that's what they were being, sort of based on marketing on. And that's what labels were looking for. So, yeah, that's, effectively, that's what...
Did you figure that out, or was that explained to you?
No, it was never explained to me. It was conversations that we had internally. When I say internally, I mean between my own little team, that's me and my management at the time, plus some friends of mine in and outside of the industry, people close to me, I
think with a Tiny comparison, I think that would almost show that things are just seen as a product. Like rap.
Exactly.
Geographically from the same area.
Yeah.
But content, what you deliver and what Tiny deliver is completely 2 different things.
Oh, we're completely 2 different artists, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, inspirations are different, lifestyles are different, things that, just perspectives in general, we're just different people. So, for, a man to sit in a chair and write you a check based on being something you're not, and to learn that afterwards, you just have to adhere. You know what I mean? So I'm just fortunate enough that I could have the conversation when the time was right, after I felt like, I was being misrepresented and misunderstood, that I was free to spread my wings, you know what I mean? So the staff that were working on my campaign were amazing, and I've got no regrets about the people that, I connected with while I was there. Like, they were brilliant. But I think overall, what they wanted was not what I wanted. Which is
a very real conclusion to say, okay, let's go our separate ways.
Absolutely. And like I say, I'm happy that, it was mutual ground, and, it was cool. And I wanted to, the one thing that my A&R said to me is that, I know that you're not happy because you're being misrepresented, and I know you feel like you're not being the Smiler that you are. And I was like, well, exactly. So, because there was a lot of music submitted for me to be there 2 years and put out the 2 songs in comparison to the amount of music I was delivering is like...
You signed for 2 years?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years, yeah.
Does it feel like that?
It was very quick, innit? It feels quick. Yeah, it was September 2011, and I left in August 2013.
Wow. We spoke again before about, jobs, music. You're somebody that you're quite a savvy businessman. You are, and
a little bit.
I've seen some things. You've invested in property, right? Okay. What made you think early on that I need to get into property? Because it's, people just can see, okay, look, you're sitting in front of a rapper. Before rap, you had a goal, you had a plan, and I've seen some of the properties, and I'm like, okay, cool, it's a great location, you know.
Yeah.
You're a landlord,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
What made you have a foreplan or a foresight to actually think, okay, I need to invest in property before I even really get too crazy into the music?
I won't sit here and lie and say it was genius. It was just one of those things. I was a hustler, man, so I was like, you know, there's certain boxes that on a street level that you want to tick. You know, there's certain things that people do things differently. I know a bunch of people that were doing their thing at the same time as me that were more concerned about getting a convertible car. Some people.
You had the cars, bro.
I had a couple cars as well, man, but I mean, it wasn't primary for me. It wasn't something I wanted to do first, you know, because I just felt, you know, it's not a secret, you know, cars depreciate. You're never ever gonna go wrong with bricks and mortar unless it's subsidence or flooding or something out of your control, you know. But I just feel like for me at the time, it was a number of things, you know. I wanted to I wanted to put myself in a situation that I could afford to spend time doing other things, you know what I mean? So I could sleep a little bit better at night knowing that about my family, you know. So I did an investment with them, and yeah, it was just more kind of about, you know, reacting to circumstance and protecting myself for the future. And then it was like, okay, cool. I started to read up about the game, and it's like, even down to doing some of my earlier movements, like the renovations and stuff, I probably could have saved myself 20-25% on what I spent at the time if I had known then what I knew a bit later on. But you know, you live and you learn. I've got no regrets, because it was a beautiful situation. And it's like, and the only reason I'm saying about what I could have saved and what I could have done differently is because I'm a perfectionist. But in hindsight, to somebody else doing that sort of project that I did then, it's still like, it's fantastic to do now. Do you know what I mean? Even spending what I spent, the amount of time it took, etc., it's still a massive achievement. So, you know, I'm endlessly grateful for that. And then after that, I just felt like, you know, cool, I want to live a little, because, you know, I've secured a couple of things. Let me treat myself a little bit, because the whole time I didn't really spend any money, man. It's just.
Let's talk about the trees, because in the end of the video we're talking about you jumping into the pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the chain. That you. I remember when you was at the Wale show. I keep on saying it.
Mm.
You had your smiler piece.
Yeah.
Which I know is expensive.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of the show, Smiler just walks into the crowd with his chain. I'm like, this guy, like, this, and then the Daytona Rollie. You know, these are things where it's like, you know, these are extravagant pieces.
Yeah.
But I feel like you've kind of like moved on to another phase in your life where that doesn't really mean what it meant then to you now. Well, I mean, because explain it, because it's evolution. And some people are at the point where they just want to cop the nicest thing.
Yeah.
Where you've copped these things, but you've kind of like turned your back on it in a way.
Yeah, it's evolution, and it's growth. But again, I just feel like, you know, a load of different things came together on me at once. Now I was thrown in the deep end because, like I said, I stopped doing everything I was doing before that was bringing me revenue. So my money started to depreciate. You know, parallel to that, I didn't know whether I was coming or going. You know, applying all my time and effort to my passion, and still had no security. So then, you know, the deal came, and parallel to that, I became a dad. So with all of these things going on, it's like, you know, it's a tug of war, a complete tug of war. Spending money, trying to save money, reacting to circumstance, and really like.
You're under pressure then?
Yeah, a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. So, I mean, like, from that point forth, my life was different. You know, like, things changed for me completely. I mean, I did, you know, I started doing things again to kind of secure myself. But in doing that, you know, when you finally do start to, you know, put yourself in a state of reparation, you realize what matters. And then I would never have gone and done the same thing I did back in 2009 again, because I now had someone who was dependent on me.
Your daughter.
Exactly. My daughter had a beautiful baby girl. My circumstances were different. Everything started to change around me. So like when the things started to, you know, started to realign, I was like, I appreciated it a little bit more. Not that I was frivolous with my spending before. I did things that I wanted to do after I'd secured other things, but I lived, you know what I mean? And it's material. It's material. I mean, I will do it again now, but it's one of those things. I just want you to understand, if I do it now, given what I did then and what I know now, I've got a much bigger plan than I did back then.
Yeah.
If I do go and spend anything like remotely close to what I spent back then, or live the way that I was living before. Like, you know, I'll only really do it if I can really, really do it.
The chain was crazy. There was a black and gold. Was it black and yellow?
Yeah, black and yellow stones. Yeah, canary stones.
What was that looking like? You know, I mean, was that looks like it was a costly piece.
That's little money, man. Again, but it's just these are things that you do with artists, man. I mean, like,
but it's part of hip hop.
Of course, it's very much part of the culture. I still got that element to me. Sometimes you need to go and have conversations with the people that matter, and the only thing that they respect is the material. So what do? Do you turn up like how I'm looking now? No. I'm going to pick up my daughter from nursery after. I don't want to walk in the nursery with jewelry swinging around me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so you go and sit down with them and you give them what they respect. That's how you start to adapt and start to understand how you need to be a social chameleon. Do you understand? So it's like, yeah, of course, man. Like, I did like it, but I love the thinking behind it more than the actual act.
Yeah, I get you. It's
Yeah,
a cherry on the top, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're a sharp person. Did you go to uni?
No,
You didn't go to uni?
I didn't even finish college.
Seriously?
Dropped out.
For real?
I'm impatient, man. I wanted money, man.
Because I remember, you know, maybe because I was reading too deep into the lyrics, you said about, like, you know, got my masters. I don't know if that must be in the streets then.
Yeah, I got my masters in the hood, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Bro, so why are you so sharp?
I've had a lot of life experience, man. Like a hell of a lot of life experience, and sometimes in fact, the majority of the time, I got to think for other people. Plus, I learn from others' mistakes. So, you know, like my mind and my eyes are like surveillance, man. I'm constantly soaking in and taking in what's going on around me, having to react to situations. So, I guess from that, you just, you know, I'm not a person that unlearns things. Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm still kind of shocked, and I don't think it's because you have to go to uni to have, but you're poised, you're well spoken. You understand how to, you know, situate yourself in different people, the people you do business with. Yeah. They see that you're a sharp person. They don't see you as a N-word with the ER in it. They see you as a polished man. So look, let's with those life experiences. Yeah,
but then the thing is this, it's like, you know, there are people that are slightly younger than me. I'm still in my 20s, you know what I mean? But there are people that are in their 20s, a lot younger in their 20s, richer than I am, you know, in better circumstances than I am. And it's like, maybe they had to react to different circumstances quicker than I did. And with that being said, you know, they probably reaped their reward a bit quicker than I did. But everything happens in God's time, you know what I mean? At different times for different people. I mean, like, I still look at, not to look down on anybody, but I still see what's happening in the game right now. And it's like, I can still notice that a lot of people haven't learned.
I was going to come on to that. I was going to say, what are these industry pitfalls? Because it seems like the talent part of it, we have that.
Yeah.
So like, we have the talent.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot of amazing talent. Yeah.
We have infrastructure. We don't have leadership. So what are these pitfalls that people can, you know, just keep just jumping into?
Peer pressure.
Really?
Peer pressure, yeah. Peer pressure, and that's why, like, I'll take my hat off and forever commend somebody like Skepta, who can go on stage at an award show in a Sports Direct uniform. I endless plaudits. He's himself, and I just feel like the one thing that, you know, like you said, we have all of these assets and attributes to us as people and musicians and businessmen in this country, because our industry's budding. We're slightly behind other industries, but we're getting there. But the one thing that we do lack is originality. We're always looking outside, not within. Mm-hmm.
That transition, bro, not everyone makes it out. Some people go to jail.
Yeah. Again, it's like, it's how quick you learn and the company you keep. How stubborn you are, how susceptible you are to advice. I think it's a combination of different things. You have to have a particular kind of makeup in order to even be, you know, for it to be possible for you to transition, because I'm not going to lie, I always get urges like, do what I did before, and, you know, I know how to do it. Like,
you know what the result, you know
yeah,
the winners.
Absolutely. But really, is it? Because it's a different marketplace now. And things are never going to be the same as what they once were 10 years ago. My come up was effectively 10 years ago. That's when it started anyway. So I can't, it's like, you know, when the OGs go back to the hood and there's new gangsters now. Do you get what I'm saying? Not that I've left the hood, I'm not talking about myself, but I'm saying per se that the actual craft itself. Like, I'm still very much in where I'm from Woolwich, but I'm saying, like, the way that I did things, I would, even if I did go and do things again now, the formula would have to change. The only thing that will remain the same is the players and the rules. But the method behind it has to change.